Okay, so welcome everyone to Coffee Round the World. So I'd like to introduce you. Firstly, I am Joanne Holbrook. I am the author of Your Passport to Parenting. And basically, the book was written with coffees just like this, with people that I found interesting and love to hear their stories. And I wanted to bring you all in to listen to some amazing people that I've met. So I'd like to introduce you to Wendy Marmon. We are in Australia right now, and Wendy I met about a year ago, and we started having coffees. And the coffees were so enlightening and interesting that I felt like I had to bring Wendy in. So a little bit of background on chapter 7. If any of you have the book, you can go and read Wendy's story. I wrote about her, and we'll chat a little bit about what she gave us in this book that I truly think is so powerful, and I'd love to share that. So, Wendy, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. I'm so excited to be here because I love your book and I love the idea of it, and I really like the way you said there's more than one way to be a good mum, because I think in today where so many people are facing so much pressure about parenting to be the perfect mum, which does not exist, by the way. Does not exist.
At all.
But there are so many ways to be a good parent, and I just think what you've written will just give people a real, I'm all right, and just a platform to be able to be the great mum that they can be.
And that's exactly why it was written as well, is people like you who have so much to share and so much advice to give. Everybody can actually just have a voice. So I'd love to hear your story, because you have parented so many countries in crazy situations. So give us a little bit of a Wendy background.
Well, we went off to Bible college with a 6-month-old. We went overseas with 3 kids. We had our 4th while we were missionaries in Bolivia. So we've worked in Bolivia, in Singapore. We then worked in New Zealand with a group called Family Ministries. We've actually taken our kids to several other countries as well. We did 4 weeks in Fiji with the kids. Then we've moved back to Australia. My kids actually laughed when I told them about this. They said, "She shouldn't be interviewing you, Mum. She should be interviewing us." But there you go.
That would be interesting as well to hear it from their
would
perspective.
be, because my kids are all grown now. They're all in their 30s, and I have 5 grandkids and a number 6 on the way.
So exciting.
Yes.
Yay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful. So in the book, when I wrote about you, and the biggest takeaway was when you were chatting about your endo and exoskeleton in a child. And it was such a moment for me when you said that, because I went home and thought about it for days afterwards, just about how powerful that is. So will you explain it? Because you can...
Yes, sure. I think it went back to, I was in a seminar one day, and I can't even quite remember where the seminar was, but I remember the picture of the slide, and it talked about us when we're scared and we try and protect ourselves, and it had a picture of a person wearing a full suit of armour, just like you would get in an old English castle. And that connected with me, that picture. And then I remembered when I was in 3rd class, I was swinging around and playing as I did, and I fell about 10 feet and broke my arm. And I had a broken arm with a full arm plaster right up to there. When I took the plaster off, my arm was withered, and I couldn't do anything with it, and it sort of floated, and I just had no power. And so when I saw the picture of the suit of armour that we protect ourselves with, and then I thought of the protection that I'd had in my plaster that I was wearing, I thought about what we're trying to do. And when we just seek to protect ourselves and we put ourselves in a suit of armour, one, you can't move very fast. You know, you see them, the people that did in the nights, you know, when they have a jousting competition, they need 4 people to lift them up. You know, you can't eat, you can't, there's so many things you can't do. But then I thought, in our day and age, you just see people running everywhere, strong, athletic. And it struck me that when you actually build strength, and we have a backbone on the inside, and that means that the outside's pretty soft and gooey. You know, we're not wearing a suit of armour. the thing that gives us shape, the thing that gives us strength is actually on the inside, it's not outside. And when we try and put something on the outside instead, it slows us down, and it actually, instead of helping us be safer, it actually causes what's inside to get weaker and to become quite useless. So that's why I came up with the idea of the exoskeleton, so wearing a suit of armour, or the backbone. That's what we're trying to give our kids, backbone. So they've got the agility, they've got the strength, they can run their race. Not our race, but their race.
What would you say to parents looking back? You know, what would your advice be to help build that endoskeleton so that we can let these adults go into the world who have these strength in them instead of just armor protecting them?
You have to be a parent, and as they get older, that will change more into a friendship role. But you also, you share the why. It's not just about the rules, but the why about the rules, because you're building understanding. And when you're building understanding, when they're not with you, they have gone through the process of decision making. So if you're showing them that I chose this because I thought of that, and I thought of this, and I thought of the other thing, and then I looked at the consequences, and that's why I ended up choosing this. When people can see the process, it's a bit like the maths teacher when I was at school was always saying, don't just put the result, show you're working. When you show you're working, you're actually equipping your kids to have their own adventure, to make their own good decisions, and you've also got to let them make some bad decisions where it's not going to hurt them. Sometimes we protect them so much from bad decisions that the first bad decisions they can make are ones that are really, really bad. Whereas if they've learned from decisions beforehand and we've allowed them to fall over and pick themselves up, we've built some resilience.
It's so interesting that you say that, because a while ago I did a course with a man, a Chinese doctor, and he said if you want to strengthen a joint, put pressure on it. And he said, do planks, do things that put stress on it. And he said if you want to strengthen a child, put pressure on them, because that's how they become stronger. And I really love that analogy. We all go to the gym and we work out and we lift weights to put pressure on ourselves to become stronger. But then often we go home and we protect the kids so much that we're not putting any pressure on them. So tell me about your work.
I help people navigate life where there is no map. So many of us are reliant on following a well-trodden path, but often that path doesn't take us where we need to go. So I give people the skills to be able to navigate life where there is no map, and to map it and create it as they go.
And you have done it for me as well, because on our chats, what was interesting with Wendy was when I had one chapter to write in the book, and I was having the hardest time. And we went for coffee, and she said, just talk to me. And I spoke for probably I was just blah, 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 like all the reasons I couldn't do it, all the reasons I couldn't get there. And she was like, why? And the next thing, she started repeating back to me everything I'd said to her in the coffee. And I went home that afternoon and I knocked out a chapter.
Sometimes as a parent, when we take time out for ourselves to grow, we think that we are being bad, we're being selfish. No, there is nothing selfish about making sure that you have the energy to actually run the course.
Well, I just want to thank you for the coffee and for inviting me over and being able to do this for us. It is nice to read the book and then see the person in the chapter, because every person in this book is real, and most of them, probably 99% of them, are the real names. So everyone who shared something with me over coffee, through just meeting them, they're actually real people. So this is chapter 7, Wendy Marmon. So please, let me know if you have any questions. I'm sure if you do, Wendy will also hop on and answer anything you have. And I'll put her business website at the bottom, and if you're ever interested in chatting to her, because I guarantee you she's amazing.
I offer a range of different things, and I'm about to actually put a program up for parents to create their family vision board. So
I'm signing up for that. So we're definitely doing that one. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.